accomplish. And when we don't have that, then we end up just getting whatever. So of course, you know the housekeeping rules. I want you to take notes if you can. Actually, I'm gonna drop some nuggets and bombshells on tonight. So if you can, definitely want you to pick up a pen and pad if you can. If not, then just tune back in or either send me a thing and I'll send you the link a little later, okay? Definitely ask questions, use that chat, blow my chat up. If I say something, you have a question or a thought, make sure you click on there. That way I don't forget or we can go back to it. And of course, if you would, just unmute when you're called upon, and that way we can finish up what we're doing. All right, well, let's step into our session already. Delshana, I know you got some wins already for this week. So what are the wins for this week? Give me a good win.
Woohoo! A good win in the realm of shifting into fee for service. I've got a flag class being in process to come train the whole team. So that is coming to fruition. I also, did I tell y'all how much I made?
How much you made?
Listen, just under $400 in gross receipts. Come on.
What? One shot?
And yeah, it's little money, but for what I was doing and offering and been doing and ain't been getting, come on, somebody. That's like the taste of the milk and the honey. The taste of the milk and the honey, okay? And so I was able to do that. I've already been asked when I'm going to release the next class, the next advanced class. And I also talked to someone who seems promising for the book coaching programs. So I got 2 leads there. I'm supposed to follow up by tomorrow, see what happens. I'm excited.
Beautiful. I'm excited for you. That sounds like a great win. Now I'm moving into getting that money, girl. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes. Now, I did also sell 2 books. You know, I've been killing it on social media.
I've been seeing you. I've been checking you out.
Listen, when it comes to books and buying books and that sort of thing, people don't buy the book, they buy you. So that's just being consistent on social media is killing the algorithm. And there's going to be some great things that come as a result of that. And I finished my ClickFunnels. I just got to add the emails to that, and then that book publishing ClickFunnels will be released, and we'll be rocking and rolling.
Beautiful. Onward and upward to the next bestseller. So we'll have a bestseller on the team. That's what I'm talking about, man. I'm down with it. I ain't scared of your success. I just want you to know that. We want you to blow up and become just even bigger. My goodness. Any other successes on this week? Any other wins this week?
I just want to say that I reached my goal again as far as the target income that I was looking to hit. This week. All right. 2 weeks in a row.
Now y'all talking my language. As I would tell you, show me the money. Awesome. So now that's been happening more consistently than inconsistently, correct?
Yes.
Beautiful. Well, keep it moving, keep it going. Let's see what the end's gonna be. This is good stuff, guys. All right, well, cool. Well, let's go real quick. I wanna do a follow-up because I can't tell you that we're results driven and we're not seeing the results. So I need to hear from you guys, and I know at least you're at work, so don't mess that work up, girl. Like I said, you need that good job, girl. Going for right now. It's gonna help feed into your vision. But actually, Delshana, you kind of already touched on a few things that are different now than when we first started working together. But just give me 1 or 2 things real quick. I want to see what has changed in your life, or what have you done differently since we've been working together?
So a couple things. One is, I guess the most important is that I believe in me again. I think that's the number one, the big, huge difference is believing in me again and listening to my voice and accepting my voice as both significant and important and worthy. And so with that came dressing up for success. Come on, somebody. CEO in the building. Rethinking and reconsidering like how much work am I supposed to do versus even using Fiverr. Like I used Fiverr to do this last flyer. quick and easy, drop the information, approve, submit, right? And it was very inexpensive for me to have done that, as opposed to the hours it would have took me to figure it out and do that myself. So just really walking in, stepping into the light of CEOing, instead of having to do everything. And then of course, getting results, right? Like I've been pumping and pushing and priming for a long time, and I've gotten financial compensation or financial exchange for some of the values that I've already given and that I've been giving. And so that's some difference. And then showing up consistently. So not just dressing for success, but also showing up consistently in social media, trying to narrow down and narrow in on my who I'm called to serve, and that stuff.
Man, that's a lot. Well, tell you what, you might as well just clap that up. That is amazing, darling. That is just amazing. All right, that's good stuff. That's what I like to hear. Alicia, if you can, put in the chat a few things that you've gained and garnered over the last 90 days. I kind of want, like I said, we got to look at results. You know, if it ain't working, it ain't working, but I need to know it's working. All right, good job. Thank you so much, Telshawn, for showing. Robbie, I know you're on the tread and you kicking it up a notch, but can you share just maybe one or two things? I know you're gonna have some noise in the background, but we're okay with that.
One or two things that's changed is understanding the importance of family time. That has changed for me. Spending time with my family and my children. Also knowing that, like you said before, it's business, but it's also physical and spiritual. So everything is combined into one. So working on all three of those, you know, together, making everything a habit.
Excellent. So that consistency is huge. Then now that allows you to now see some more results, and just me seeing you at the gym and seeing your consistency at the gym, that's huge, Robbie. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, Mister.
So proud of you. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. That's all right. And let's go on. Let's go a little further. Who else we got? Let's go. I know Sade. Sade, I don't know if you're at a place to talk. Where you at? Basketball game? What you doing?
I can talk. I'm about to step outside real quick though. People are talking behind me.
Gotcha.
What I gained, I can say I have a lot more confidence. I feel more that I'm being challenged. We're at a point where it's like keeping me up on my toes, you know, just spiritually and business wise and with my personal goals. That excitement has came back. It's just like I know that with my t-shirts and stuff like that, that, you know, I can actually do it. I don't feel like, you know, well, this is just a little bit too much, because before I started, I kept thinking I have to do it by myself. And since being in here, I realized I don't have to do it by myself. I'm not alone. And just by you pushing me and me coming in on Thursdays and stuff like that, you know, or just hearing from you like during the week, that really has helped me and it keeps me motivated. I haven't really just been like that even when I really just started it, you know, my business. It's just a motivation and just knowing that I do have somebody that's on my team. I have somebody that's challenging me. I have somebody that's pushing me, because I wasn't the type of person that really liked to be pushed, but I've actually enjoyed it because it keeps me on my toes, like I said. Also, another thing is it also helped like wise, because I realized, you know, that I gotta work on my like schedule and stuff like with my children. And then it's okay that I could tell them, no, you can't play this sport this season, you know, because I gotta work on what it is that I know that, you know, God has put in my life for me to accomplish it. So that also helped too. And it's just been a blessing, I could say, just actually being here and taking the notes, getting a lot of information and hearing everybody else's wins. It's just motivation all the way around.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, Sade, I appreciate you, girl. I see you climbing, growing, and becoming who I know you can and already are. Now just seeing you shine. I'm excited about your future. And so we're so glad to work with you, that's for sure. Any other look at that 90-day look back? I know we got some new faces on here. Well, actually, you know what? I guess maybe I could just look at Fire. I don't know if you're on here, T, if you can talk. But I guess we just been working together for a little bit now. We already seeing little results.
Absolutely. I don't know if you can hear me well. Sorry, my dog's in the background. But no, I'm sorry for being late. Just jumping in, looking at the what you have, the 90-day look back. I mean, you know personally, but I know the group doesn't. I'm just excited to be involved. Since joining with you, I've been able to, start the process for purchasing my first investment property. So I'm excited about that. We're, you got to, you put it all together. You pretty much got a team, like you said. So I've just been following your lead, and I think we're days away from finalizing that deal. So property I haven't even seen, but obviously I've known you for a long time. Trust what you've, your direction and your team that you've put me in contact with has been a blessing in making the process smooth as well. So just trying to get prepared for the next level.
Man, T, it's been amazing being on board with you. There's a lot of people that you meet, and as soon as you meet, it just clicks. And I tell you what, after we sat and talked, and then as soon as the opportunity came, he didn't hesitate. He jumped on it, man. Mad respect. A lot of people, the hesitancy is what makes you miss moments. And because you chose to step into the moment, man, it's going to be amazing.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. This is just the first one. We got a couple more to do. I'm excited.
Yes, so am I. I really am excited. I don't get excited about a lot, but I'm excited about the process. It's been smooth, and just looking forward to the next one and the next one, and to the multifamily options that we know we can get into. So it's exciting.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, we're looking, those multifamily are coming in really quick, man. I got a couple ones that are interesting, but anyway, we'll talk about that. But T, yes, man, it's been a blessing, but mostly because you already knew what you wanted. It's easy to work with people that know what they want, and now it's just a matter of finding out how we can make it happen. So thank you so much for being on the squad, man. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anybody else? As we look at the 90-day look back, I know Ms. Hayes, I know you've been in and out, but I know you've always been riding with me. So what have you got just in the last little bit that we've been together, working together, if you're able to talk?
Yes, sir. So it's 6:17. I'm always in the car, but I'm riding. Very, very excited to say in the last 90 days, I have learned how to separate personal for business and just be unapologetic about what I need to do for self. Being able to balance my spiritual health, my mental health, my physical health, and just feeling really, really good. Of course, being able to watch from a perspective of not just, where we are as a spiritual team, but to be able to step out and see how things evolve, outside of the walls, but everything still lines up. I'm just happy to say that I officially graduated, and I am now certified as a community healthcare worker here in the state of Nevada. And I just know that it was these Thursdays, right, that pushed me, that I do understand who the leader is. I do understand the vibe. I do understand what results look like. I do understand that I didn't run 13 miles, but I felt like I was out there with you, and I just wanted to continue to vibe off of the energy. And so knowing what divine acceleration looks like, I'm looking forward to second quarter, knowing that we're only about 20 days away from April 1st. And I know that it just gets better from here. So just grateful to be able to come back and contribute in a mightier way, and not knowing how it was going to happen was where I had to just let go. And so being able to hop on here where I did hop on, and know that even in the anxiety, I feel like I was missing out, as I trusted God and I trusted what it is that I could get. Being able to see that every time I am getting on, that we still moving and that results are happening. And so just happy to share and happy to be here today.
Beautiful. Well, I'm glad you're on board. Thank you so much for being a part. We're excited about where God is taking us and where this group is taking us. And it's amazing too, because I just talked to another young lady, Dr. K. I know she's not on tonight, but she is actually in the process of finishing her doctorate. She is in a whole nother zone level. We also have Dr. Kathy, who now has officially launched back her actual show. And so it's so much going on right now. But the key is, once again, guys, I'm always going to push you to results. I'm always going to push you to that next level of greatness and moving forward. So thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let's move forward tonight. Let's get what we're talking about. So how do you inspect what you expect? And that's what I'm going to come from tonight. Inspecting what you expect. In other words, getting to a point to where you have to realize, number one, what is your expectation? We talked a little bit about this last week and dealing with just stepping your game up or raising your standard. And I kind of want to come back and look at that again, because a lot of times we expect things, but are we really inspecting what we expect? Or do we even know what our expectation is? Because what your expectation is what you're going to end up with. You know, if you expect to be and do all these things, then now you'll start seeing those come to pass. You know, I have people on this site and people that I'm coaching that are, they didn't even know what to expect. They had so many bad things happening, they stopped expecting good things to happen. And so now the expectation has changed. So now we're looking for the results, we're looking for the answers, but now the key is going back like we just did, and let's inspect it. Let's see what are we actually accomplishing or doing that's catapulting and taking you to the next level. And the biggest key is now, are they spelled out? So in other words, not only do you have what you expect, but are you spelling out what you expect? And a lot of times we don't do that. We kind of just expect things. I don't know about you guys, but if you're this kind of person I want to talk about, I need you to give me a woo woo in the chat. But if you're that person that you think that people should know better, oh, they should know that. Or you feel in your mindset that I can't believe they didn't just do it. You know, I shouldn't have had to say something. It should have just been done that way. And what happens is now you're expecting people to be like you. And everybody is not like you. Everybody doesn't think like you. Everybody's not going to be as gracious as you. Everybody's going to be as loving as you. Everybody's not going to be as giving as you. And it's not that maybe some of them just don't want to be, they just don't know. I think the hardest thing and the worst thing we can do is expect people to be what we have not given them the expectations for us to be with us, in other words. Because if not, then they don't know. And and then this is the worst thing that can happen in a relationship, is when you start expecting from someone something that you have not addressed what the expectations are. It's almost like setting up roles. Okay, who's doing this? Who's doing what? Who's doing? In other words, if they don't know their roles, then how can they play them? You know, some of you guys are excellent. Once you get a roadmap, you play what you're supposed to play. In other words, you stay in your lane, you do the things you're supposed to do. And then others of you, you're sitting back and you're fuming because people ain't doing stuff that you expect should be done. You know, it's almost like you come home, that trash ain't out, that trash should have been took it out. And you just go off on this tangent about the trash. And here it is, you fussing about trash that maybe if you would have set a schedule, maybe if you had a board on the refrigerator that says these are the duties of what needs to be done, then now you can come back and literally say, hey, the expectation was here. Now here's what I'm going to do and inspect to make sure it's being done. And a lot of times we're wanting and expecting things to be done, i.e. from our employees, from our family. I'm going to deal with this a little bit tonight because I believe a lot of times your expectations of people are sometimes unrealistic from their background. And then frustration sets in and you get mad at them for not being you. And that is so wrong. Matter of fact, that's wrong on all levels. When you expect everybody to be as loving and compassionate as you, well, I would have paid for it. You know, when I take people out, I offer to pay and then they offer to pay. Then we share. A lot of people I'm growing up with, they don't know about that. Only thing they know is if you say you're gonna buy, then shoot, buy. If you got it, you got it. And unfortunately, that's just because they haven't been taught. You know, one of my great mentors that I'm working with, you know, when we first started going out, you know, I'd always pay for the meals. And then I got to the point where I said, man, at some point we need to be fighting for this ticket. And just from that, he shared with me a couple of weeks ago, he said, man, I'm so glad you taught me that. Because now the people I hang around with are totally different than the people I used to hang around with. And I don't get mad at people when I'm sitting there taking care of all the bills because now I let them know what the expectations are, you know? But if you don't let them know, then how will they know? Okay? Now, let's go a little further, okay? So how does this affect you? It affects you in your business because a lot of you, you don't have, a lot of you, not yet, but almost, you get ready to get employees. Matter of fact, if I have my say, by the end of this year, no, take that back. By June of this year, you guys will have at least one part-time person working for you. And I don't care what they're doing. They can be your maid. They can be your gardener. They can be what, but somebody they can be your pooper scooper. They can be somebody that's going to do something that you shouldn't be doing anymore. Not that you too big to do it, but it's going to give you back your thing that you can't get back, which is time. Okay? So, but if you don't know what if they don't know what the expectations are, then how can they effectively or efficiently help you? Some of you, when it comes to your employees, you have to make sure that you have job descriptions. Like, I mean, if you have a maid, just as an example, remember they're employees. Now that maid should have a checklist of what you want done in your house. That way now you can inspect what you expect. It can be your personal yourself. Many of you have not sat down and actually said what your expectations are for yourself on a daily basis. In other words, by the end of the day, what do you expect to be done? And then you should be able to write it down and inspect it. All of my employees, well, that are working for me now, at the end of the day, they send me a report. And that report shows me what they did all day. In other words, I have to inspect what I expect. I cannot just assume that it was done. I have to know that it was done. And so you have to go back, but if you don't set those guidelines, how can it be set? Right now, if you look at even some of you guys, your spouse, your kids, you have these expectation levels that you have not told them. You assume they should know because they've been around you long enough. And you think that it should be innate to them on how to treat you and how to make sure that they're doing what you want them to do. And truth be told is no. Have you really spelled it out? With your spouse, are you guys with a role list where you know who's doing what and what's doing who? And how do you inspect it? How do you go back and check up on it to make sure that it's being accomplished? Or have you just got an understanding? Now, understanding is good, but I believe a marriage is a business. I believe that you should set it up to where now, if things are done accordingly, marriage is not a contract, it's covenant. But even in your covenant, you need to know how to set that thing up correctly to know exactly what I'm going to be doing, what you're going to be doing. Like my wife knows I'm probably not going to wash dishes. I'm just throwing it out there. But she does know I'm going to scoop poop and I'm going to wash clothes. That's some of my duties. And so I do my duties, and truly it's a duty. But once the roles are done, they're done. I don't do cleaning in the house. I said, I don't want you have to do it either, so we're gonna hire somebody. So in other words, we get the expectation and then we can inspect it by knowing that it's being accomplished, okay? So I challenge you, if you have not already done so with your spouse, your kids, or whoever you're with, your significant other, write down responsibilities. Find out if what you expect is what they know to do. Or have you just assumed that they should know and it hasn't been done, and you're getting angrier and angrier. And you know what happens when you get so angry, you get resentful. And so be careful that the resentment is not even called for. In other words, maybe you're being resentful over something you just never explained. Go back and check it out. Wellness, what is your goal? In other words, what are you trying to accomplish? You know, on my actual goal plan, I am 178 pounds of lean, mean fighting machine. So in other words, I know exactly what I'm looking to accomplish. And the way I inspect that is by what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis to get there. And I'm closer now than I've ever been. And that's only because I've been really focused on the numbers, okay? So you got to find out what that number is. Don't just say, well, I'm just going to do, no, get a number. Or maybe it's not a number. You know, if you're working with a trainer like I am, every month we go and actually test my body fat, all those numbers that you don't know about, you know, and sometimes when you're not losing weight, maybe you're losing inches. If you're not losing inches, maybe you're losing body fat. Maybe you're building muscle. You know, in other words, I actually get a printout every month that shows me where I'm progressing. And something about knowing that is huge because now, once again, I'm inspecting what I expect. I'm not just free flowing. Some of you, if you ask yourself the question, am I free flowing or am I actually finding things and I know exactly what I'm trying to accomplish? That's something you have to ask yourself, okay? Practice doesn't make perfect. And the reason I threw this in here, guys, is because you can keep doing the same thing over and over again wrong. And in life, if you keep doing the same things over and over wrong, you're gonna keep getting the wrong results. And some of you are so cold to where you go harder, faster, doing the wrong thing. I'm gonna keep going, I'm gonna keep moving. And before you know it, you're doing all this energy that's being really wasted because practice does not make perfect unless you're doing perfect practice. In other words, if what you're doing is producing the results you want, then now you're doing it the right way and maybe adjust on how you're doing. But if what you're doing is not producing the results you want, then now my thought is look at it again. See exactly what you need to do to make the adjustment. You cannot be different and not change. You cannot. So know how to make those adjustments when needed. So there's adjustments that need to be made, and you have to realize that you can't get married to what used to work. What used to work, matter of fact, what we used to do 2 years ago is not working as good as it was 2 years ago. I believe that there's a new normal that we've all had to come to the conclusion of. I don't believe we will never be at the same place that we was 2 years ago. Everything has changed. We've changed. The people around us changed. The systems have changed. I know for me personally, COVID, one of the biggest and best reasons about COVID was it made me totally go automated. To where now I can work from home if I wanted to, and it wouldn't even be a problem. You know, it's something to where now to look at systems and seeing what do we need to adjust to make it more effective. And that's what I really keep pushing you guys towards, effectiveness. I want to see you be productive and not just busy. At the end of the day, I want to see that there's some results in what you're trying to accomplish. I don't want you just to sit back and be like, well, I'm just tired. Well, the question I want to have for you is inspect that tired. Why are you tired? What did you accomplish today? And once you find that out, then now you can once again go back and see why you're tired. And you can enjoy your tiredness. But if you're tired from doing nothing all day, then you need to check that, okay? Because that means that now you're doing a lot of motion, but not a lot of actual progress. Now, the enemy of progress, of course, we know is change. The enemy of progress is change. In other words, you cannot, and hear me, you cannot get better being who you are today. You have to be better tomorrow to be better for tomorrow. You have to be better for the next day and the next day. In other words, you have to keep progressing. You guys heard me say this before. I'm always chasing the next best version of myself. That's every single day. In other words, every single day I want to be better. And every single day I believe you should be better as you go forward, okay? Stay relevant. And when I say stay relevant, you know what that means to me? It's almost like Beyonce, those that cross over, almost like Charlie Wilson, those that cross over. And I'm using musical people, but you can use sports people too. Brady, all these guys that are greats, but the way they stayed relevant is they kept changing, they kept adjusting, they kept looking at where they're at and looking at where they want to go. Because you cannot keep doing what you're doing at the pace you're doing forever. I know in your mind, you can do it. Oh yeah, I can keep it. No, you can't. When I hit 50, man, it seemed like everything changed. It was like the Matrix. It was like everything slowed down. And I had to figure out, okay, how am I in this new normal? How do I work through it? You know, I think for a lot of us, we'll want this to stay the same, but you cannot stay the same and walk into your true greatness. In order to get your true greatness, you have to keep building on who you are today, okay? And the way you're gonna do that is stay relevant. In other words, stay in touch. Look at times. How are they adjusting? How are they changing? Now a shift to where now you can stay with those times. Not that we're keeping pace with the world or keeping pace with people. That's not what I'm saying. Just realize what ain't working no more. Right now, to be in business and say, I'm not doing no social media. You can't stay relevant if you're not doing some type of social media in what you're trying to accomplish. And even if you're not doing it, but you have a team of people like I do that does it for you, you want to get to that place to where, yeah, it might not matter for me, but it should matter that you're out there and people know who you are and what you are doing. Because your greatest enemy, besides not wanting to change, is going to be obscurity. In other words, if nobody knows you, they can't flow you. If they don't know you, they can't flow you. That's a bar right there. Getting to the place now to where you realize that I got to get and stay relevant in everything I'm doing. And for God's sake, guys, don't fall in love with the process. Some of you get married to how you started. And how you started is not necessarily how you're going to finish. Because remember, things are changing. You know, some of you are reprocessing the same process and you're getting the same results over and over again. That means that, like I love what Delshana said, she went and now she opened up her funnel. I mean, I'm sure she wasn't thinking funnel years ago. Now she's thinking funnel. I gotta make this thing easier, man. When somebody click on there, you get the book, you get the t-shirt, you get the pen, you get everything, but it's all in one little thing. So in other words, she had to evolve and not fall in love with the process of, well, you just got to put these books in the trunk of your car, drive around and pass them out to everybody. That's not good marketing. No. And now I'm sure you're working on your ebooks, because now a lot of people aren't buying books anymore like they used to. So you have to have an ebook. You know, once again, you can't fall in love with how things were done before, because it's ever changing. And the more and more it changes, the better it gets. It's just like a t-shirt shop now. You really don't even need a building per se. You probably need a location that your people can work, but you don't need a storefront almost, because everything now is done more so online. So once again, those are things that you can't fall in love with the process and say, this is the way it has to be done, because the way it used to be done does not mean it's going to be the same for today, especially to get the numbers you're trying to get to. All right. Don't be emotional. Now, some of you, let me get a little closer to the screen, because you are very emotional. You are too sensitive. You are in business. It's like you trying to make things, like, well, let me use an example. When I buy investment properties, I never take my wife because she wants to make the house look like her house. I'm like, the house ain't gonna look like your house. I'm gonna call my people in and they're gonna throw in. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna get no brand new refrigerator, stove, and all that stuff. I got this wonderful place. I pick up some good looking secondhand stuff. In other words, the flooring, no. We're not putting down porcelain. we put down some solid laminate. In other words, you get to a place to where it becomes this process, but if you're emotional, you'll try to make it the way you think it should be and not the way that people are accepting it. You guys know about my ghetto house I bought a couple months ago. I wouldn't live in that house, but I'll be doggone if I'm not going to collect $600 a month in cash flow from that house. So in other words, guys, get to a point to where you're not emotional. Matter of fact, I got a young lady, unfortunately, single mom, that I had to put out. All right, before you put your stones up, put them back in your pocket, because unfortunately, it's a business. I couldn't be emotional. Is her family more important than my family? Okay, throw stones, beat me up, talk about my mama. But one thing you ain't gonna say is that I'm not gonna focus on what works best for what I'm trying to accomplish. So you can't be emotional with your employees. You can't get emotional. I got one employee I had to fire a couple months ago, or a couple months and a half ago, whatever it was, because I don't get emotional. I let people know that this is the job, this is the description. If you fall short or don't do this, then I'm gonna find somebody that will. So don't be emotional when it comes to making these decisions about your business. And one thing I'm gonna tell you, unless it's the right family member, don't bring family in. I know you want your family to come up with you, but trust me when I tell you, not every family member is gonna be built for where you're going, okay? They're gonna, matter of fact, if nothing else, they're gonna start counting your pennies if you're not careful on what you're making and wanna make what you make, and they ain't even did the work. So just a thought there, don't be emotional, but then again, I can say this because I'm that guy that fired his own son. Let me lean in a little bit more. Yes, I fired my own son because once again, I'm not emotional. In business, be a business person. In other words, look at things for what it is, okay? Don't look at it for what you just want it to be, but look at it for what it is at that time, especially if you're giving it time to work. Next thing is I want you to focus on the numbers. Always focus on the numbers. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. I'm always gonna ask you the question, well, okay, good, that sounds good, but what are you making from it? Okay, that sounds good. And yeah, I know you're doing a great thing. Now, if it's nonprofit and you don't want to make money from it, then let's make it that way. Now, if it's a hobby and it's just something you do for fun and you don't want to get paid for, then let's just make it a hobby. But don't call a business if it's not producing results. Okay? If you're going to do some stuff that's free, like I give out Saturday, any of you guys that want to, they're giving out, I want to say like 8,000 pounds of free food with my outreach center. Okay, so if you want to give away some free stuff, then go and be a part of my outreach center this Saturday, 8 o'clock, 7:30 for volunteers. That's a free plug right there, okay? But anyway, it's something that I'm doing to give back to the community. Last year we gave out, I think, over 300,000 pounds of free food just from my nonprofit, okay? So that's something I do for free. I focus on the numbers still though, because I still want to know how many people we help. Because in my mind, my number is 1 million people. I want to help 1 million people. And I do at least 2 to 3 million pounds of food that I give away that's just free. Okay? But once again, you got to know your numbers. How can you do it, be effective, if you don't even know how many people you're looking to help? What is your goal? I want 10 locations. Right now, I just opened another one, so we have 4 now, 4 locations that are clicking and giving away free food. All right? So I want to say that because sometimes we don't focus on the numbers and you have to. Okay? So when I'm talking to you and I challenge you on what actually happened, please know that I'm always going to focus on the numbers. Okay? Some of you, your biggest enemy in inspecting what you expect is just learning that sometimes you just got to execute and then figure it out. So proud of a lot of you, actually a couple of you that signed up for the half marathon. If you signed up for the half marathon, put your name in there, go woohoo, because I'm so excited for what you're about to do. I'm going to do this journey with you. So everything I tell you, I'm going to do with you. I'm going to make sure that you make it to the finish line. If I got to drag you, put you on one of the medical carts, we're going to make it to the finish line. We're going to get you there. Okay? So those of you that signed up just in blind faith, never done this before, I applaud you. Because in life, there are moments that you can't try to figure it out. If you already know it to be something near and dear to what you're trying to do, matter of fact, some of my spiritual people, stop praying about everything that you already prayed about. Okay? If you prayed about doing something and it comes, just do it. Don't pray about it again. Well, I need to pray about it one more again. Well, no. Did you already pray about it? Don't reprocess that prayer. Okay? Nothing worse than a recycled prayer. Just pray it. When it shows up, execute. And then allow God to figure it out if that be what you're trying to accomplish and that be your belief system. Okay? All right. But the execution is going to be a big factor because some of you, I know, you work better under pressure sometimes. And sometimes that pressure you put on yourself is good pressure because there's good pressure and bad pressure. But sometimes that good pressure is actually, like for me, the day after I ran the half marathon, I signed up again. I didn't try to figure it out. I didn't care when the next date was. I just executed on it because I didn't do the number that I wanted to do. And so because I didn't do my personal number I wanted to do, that means I had to do it again. And it's something to where in life I found out, especially when it comes to certain things, you think about it too much, you're not going to do it. When it comes to business, there are moves that happen like this. And if you don't jump on it, you'll miss that moment and you'll pray it comes around again. But I'm going to push you to say, you know what, let's get it done. You know, some people are on the sideline, don't wait to buy a house. For what? One thing I can tell you is there ain't no more land. So that means that no matter what, housing is always going to be a great investment. All right? So get ready for what you're about to do next and execute and then figure some of that stuff out. Now, real quick, I want to open the floor up. I want to hear from you on tonight, as I always do, some conversation around this information. Because once again, it's important to me that you are getting this because I don't want you just to get a bunch of information and do nothing with it. You've done that long enough. I want you to get this information and now apply it. And I'm talking about every area. Because once again, business is one area, but I promise you how you do everything is how you do one thing is how you do everything. Okay? Let me start with Delshana real quick. Delshana, what did you get on tonight? Give me a nugget. And what are you going to do differently that's going to help you move forward?
Okay, so I didn't add ebooks to my flyer, so I'm already in the zone trying to figure out how to get the flyer redone. That's number one. Number two, one of my major nugget I think from tonight was, what are my numbers? How many people do I really want to help? How many books do I want to help people publish? I put down the number 10, and I start writing zeros. And there are 7.5 billion people in the world. So why not help 1 million? If I can help 1 million get that first book done and out, they can go produce more and more and teach their family members to produce more and more. And from generation to generation, the skill set will be released within the bloodline. So that's one number that I got. And what I'm going to do differently moving forward, is that the second question you asked me?
Yeah, how you do things differently? What are you going to do differently?
I think I'm really looking at who I'm hiring and to do what. And I guess I didn't really pay much attention to the fact that I already do hire people. I already do have team members to do pieces and parts, and I wasn't giving myself credit for making those decisions and applying that there. But I am looking at what is one thing that I have to do that someone else can do for me on a regular and consistent basis to buy back my time. I've got my idea written and I have a resource for it. So I'm working on making that a reality for me.
Beautiful, beautiful. And that's something that to me is important, because now as you're moving in these areas, we got to start once again looking at what you're already getting done. That's why to me, the looking and acknowledging your actual wins are important, because if you don't, then you'll keep just going along thinking that you're not doing anything, but you're doing a lot. So good job. Good job. Keep pressing forward in that. All right. Who else we got on tonight? So let's go with Robbie. Are you still in the trade? Or are you off yet? I was getting it in.
No, I'm still on, but just putting my foot in the door instead of trying to always be in the back, pushing myself to the forefront, making myself relevant. My next class, I will have done a video with me in front of the camera talking about what I do.
Good. So now I'm putting you in the place to be that CEO who you are called to be.
Exactly, and just stepping out, doing good things, bigger things, walking away from a job that I've had a long time is going to be amazing. It's already amazing.
Well, that's a big step. That's because how long you had the job for?
22 years.
22 years. And you're walking away from a job with a pension.
Yes.
And that's huge, because most
Yes.
people don't do that. So you are in a good place at a good time. What you are actually doing, you're putting those visions in front of you, and now you're knocking them down. So proud of you.
Thank you. Believing in myself.
Well, there you go. That's the only way it's gonna happen. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Sharday, what are some things from tonight, or maybe a nugget or two that you might have picked up that's gonna help you go a little faster?
Well, most definitely when it comes to hiring, that I have to put my emotions to the side, because that's where I'm at kind of like right now with the vendor, and also just trying to have somebody, once I start really redesigning my shirts, getting somebody to, market for me, so that way that they can kind of take care of my social media accounts. And I think that would be something that I definitely would have to work on, is knowing that I wouldn't want something like that to happen, as like far as like firing somebody, but just having to not have no emotion, especially even when I'm trying to like tell them certain things or whatever, have to scold them or try to be a little bit more stern, I guess you can say, just so that I can make sure too that I have the right person or the right people around me, because I don't want to be all soft and everybody wants to run over me either. But it's just like putting my emotions to the side and knowing that business is business, and that there's work that has to be done.
That's perfect. I know one thing that I've modeled myself after is I want to be around champions. In other words, I don't want to be around, I call it minions. I don't need yes people around me. I need leaders that are leaders. And once you get leaders around you, that's how you win championships. And I think what you're saying maybe, or you've already said actually, is just knowing who is working around you and who's going to be there to build you up, and maybe even come against you a little bit in a respectful way that's going to help you be better. I look at my areas, I look at my different businesses, and in every business that I have a strong leader. In other words, I have people around me that keep me accountable and actually make me step my game up, because when you come and sit in front of them, you can't just come any old kind of way. It's just like you guys. I can't just come any old kind of way, bringing information to you, because you're going to know, well, wait a minute, I got to be able to apply it to my life. And so it takes study time and effort, but it's great because when you get a mindset of, I need people around me that think different than me, act different than me, respond differently, but as long as they're getting the job done, that's what matters. And they can see a vision for themselves or for the company. You know, my requirement for my companies are not that you get so wrapped up in what I got, but what is your vision for the area that I put you over? I mean, every worker should have a vision for where they're trying to go, or you as a leader should give them a vision to where even if they may be working with you now, the goal might be able to get them to where they're working for themselves, and maybe you're just helping fund them as an investor. Why not duplicate yourself instead of just trying to hold everything hostage? Okay, so just a thought there. Just a thought there. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Sammy, what'd you get on tonight, man? What'd you get? I know you're cleaning and working and got your mask on, but give me one little nugget you might have picked up.
Oh, hold on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, man. I can hear you.
Overall, for me, I believe it's many things, man. When you spoke up on she hired Fiverr, did her flyers, and she's reaching out to different individuals or different companies to help her out throughout her process. I'm in that same particular boat. Now, in my mind, my first mind is like, I can do it, I can figure it out, I can watch YouTube, get the tutorial, and I can figure out how to do everything on my own. But 8 hours later, I'm exhausted. Nothing got done. I watched it. Whereas I could have easily paid $50, made a phone call, asked for the help. But I just need to go ahead and just trust in others. And sometimes that's my biggest drawback. Like, because I just in my mind, I can figure it out. I can do all things, but I can't. So that's one thing that'll go ahead and change for me. And the days, the months, the weeks. I'll go ahead and make that change up on myself and just go ahead and release.
That is powerful, man, because that's the hardest thing for a lot of people is to release. And I know for myself personally, that was tough too, because ain't nobody gonna do it like I can do it. And I can figure it out. And then, like you said, you then spun your wheels all day long trying to figure out something you could have just paid somebody to do. And here's something I want you guys to put out there. Even if somebody can do 80% of what you do, they're doing good. Because that saves you time, effort, and money. So good job, Sam. That's good. Anything else? You good?
I'm good.
Excellent.
Outside so I can hear you clearly, but I'm getting a bad signal here.
Okay. All right. No worries, man. But I think we got from what you needed from you. I appreciate you, man. That's good stuff. Good stuff. All right. T, what you get on tonight, man? I know you got the dogs and got the atmosphere going. What you got going on over there?
Again, I enjoy the weekly call. I always get something from the call. But like the brother Sammy said, and you and I have spoke about it before, I get busy with traveling and things like that, and time is super important, to me. I got the family and the girls at home, so I try to spend time with them, but just freeing up my time, allowing others to do what they do. And again, I'm super impressed with the team that you've put together for the process that we're going through now. Like, that's truly a team. Like, I get an email, I sign something, and it's moving. The process is still moving. So the nugget I got is just building a team, joining your team, getting my own team, moving, just being available for that phone call. Hey, T, we got this we might look into. And to be prepared and ready for it. Like I said, to join your team, to create my own team, to just move the process along. So that's what I get each week out of this. There's always something that inspires me to just be prepared for that phone call.
Perfect, man. Well, I'm excited, man. I tell you what, I'm glad you're a part. And absolutely. And the good news is, guys, just so we're all clear, I want to help you build your empire. And I want you to be great. I want you to do some things that are now going to affect people. Because remember, in order for us to help people, we have to help leaders. If we help leaders become even greater leaders, then they'll lead even more people. Because I want to change your house, your family, those around you, your community. And the only way that's going to happen is now to empower you to become who I know you to be, which is great. And so I appreciate you being on the team, man. It's a great thing to have people in the squad like that, which is awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, Miss Gloria, what'd you get on tonight? Give me a nugget real quick. I know you're biased because, I'm the best thing that ever happened to you. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean,
That's why I love you.
I was just talking about you today too. I said, my wife has turned into a boss lady. I said, I'm actually literally sitting back saying, well, wait a minute. I had to take a back seat on something today. Guys, I was at home today. My niece that we're now working with wasn't feeling good. And so I looked at what I was doing, looked at what she was doing. I said, well, wait a minute. She got a lot more going on today. So I'm gonna stay home and let you go take care of the business. And then my thought came, I said, well, wait a minute. I got a boss lady. I'm sorry, you were getting ready to say boss lady. Go ahead.
No, the thing that I got was where you said inspect what you expect. And so taking from that, just knowing that my expectation needs to be set in every area, not just, because I do have goals set as far as the kind of income that we want to make, and some things that we want to adjust with the business, but just making sure that not only on this side, on the physical side, on the spiritual side, making sure that I have those goals set and I'm working them. Because I can have them set and forget about them, but but actually making sure that I'm reviewing those goals and coming back to them.
And that's excellent. That's excellent. That's why, I mean, I don't know if you even know, but every day, every night, I'm reviewing my goals. I have to do it. To me, it keeps me on target, because when I have a good day or a bad day, it doesn't matter anymore, because now I know what my goal is. My goal is a 32-unit apartment building. So everything I do to get to that point is just a part of the process. So, and I mean, it's crazy because now I'm getting stuff thrown at me that I really don't per se want, but it's leading me to where I want to go. And so you can't negate those things, but now is the opportunity to help even other people do the things that we're trying to do as we go along here. So that's good stuff. So appreciate you, boss lady. You're handling it. Anybody else have anything else? If not, I'm not gonna hold you hostage without a gun. Everybody's good? All right, let me check the comments real quick and make sure there wasn't any questions or anything that came out, which is good. And one thing is, if I can just throw this out there as a last statement, is make sure, guys, that you're giving people what you expect. Please do me a favor, write down a list of what you expect from people. And now that way you won't be disappointed from what they don't do that you just assume they would do. So don't assume, write it down, make sure either they have a checklist or you have a checklist. Inside of your home, get a checklist. Make sure that the things that you want to be accomplished get accomplished, and it's not haphazard, but it's something that you do. Like when I'm washing clothes, I have to wash clothes and then I have to fold them and then I'll put them away. In other words, I know that that's what I do. And that's my job. That's my responsibility. That's one of my responsibilities here, But we want to make sure that that's documented to where you know exactly what your team should be doing. If you don't know what your team is doing, how can you have an effective team? Okay? And it's not that you're checking in on your team or being a micromanager. It's just you have to inspect what you expect. You have to. If you don't, then how will you know you're progressing in the way that you want to go? All right? Accountability, of course, guys, close the gap between where you want to be, intentions, and your results. Don't go alone. That's where this team is so powerful. I believe it's amazing because it allows you now to get in with a group of people that can push each other forward. Of course, guys, I can help you. I can help you in all areas. And remember this, like I said, I don't do them all, but I got a team. I was at home today, but while I was at home, things were still getting accomplished. Nothing that needed to be done today stopped because I wasn't in the office. That's something I need you to think about. Nothing should stop if you're not available. If not, you've not built a great team that can function without you. I want to be needed, but not necessary. And the reason I say that is because my intention is every year, once a year, I want to spend 30 days in Europe. So I can't spend 30 days in Europe if I haven't got things set in place here. Okay? So we're here to help. Let me know what I can do. Of course, guys, it's a value exchange. I'm going to give you value, and so we're going to get value in return. One thing I want to teach this group is in order to receive, you must learn how to give first. Once you give, then you receive more. And also, too, in business, just know this, people will deal with you more when they see that you value what they're doing, what they're giving and bringing to the table. Especially, I have multi-millionaire friends now. And it's crazy because they value me because every time they see me, I bring value. I had a multi-million-dollar friend. Matter of fact, I just spoke to. We were 2 hours at the gas station talking. He actually is a CEO. I got to get him on here with us one day so you can meet him. His name is Mo Owens. Great guy. He's actually one of these cats. He's got his own stock. And so, with that being said, we sat and we talked, and he just wants to be a part of whatever I'm a part of. And the crazy thing is, I'm like, well, why? Because he said there's not in life many people that bring value and give value. And that's what you want to always keep in the back of your mind. Am I a person of value? Or am I just someone that's taking information, using it, but not giving props to where props is due? Like, matter of fact, he gave me a stock, and that stock went up literally 100% over a week's period. And I'm mad at myself because I didn't put enough in there. But anyway, that's another story. I'll cry about that later. I already cried, but I'll cry again later. But anyway, no story. Anyway, so with that, weekly coach, group coaching, $99 per month. You guys can go ahead and do that via Cash App or Zelle. Hit that up, tap in. Not only do you get this weekly session, but you also get the other calls that we get, and also texts that I send out, just checking on you, making sure you're good. And of course, those other calls. I want to give you more than what you bargained for. Okay. With that being said, some of you, it's almost time for the next level. And the next level is individual coaching, to where now you've got me every single week, and we're actually on a scheduled call, and we're actually dealing with what you're needing us to deal with, and making sure that you're getting even greater results. One thing I will promise you, and I will guarantee, is that I will bring you more value than you've ever had before in a month to 3 month period. All right. And that's what the individual coaching, because it takes you to the next. So my thing is always, guys, invest in yourself if you're going to invest in anybody else. And to me, having someone on your side, on your team that you can pick up the phone, have a weekly call with, and makes a big difference. My coach, I talk to him every single Tuesday at 12:30, and I'm not even going to tell you what I pay him. It ain't cheap, but it's worth it. And because of him, my income has almost tripled, quadrupled in the last 2 years. And so that's what a real coach does for you. And I know that's what I can do for you. All right. Other than that, you guys have a great evening. So glad you're on. Do me a favor. Don't keep me a secret. Tell a friend. Tell somebody. Let them know about what you're doing. Matter of fact, give them a coaching session with me, or a Thursday session. Bring your spouse on. Let them be a part if you're married. Let them hear about what you're doing and see what you're doing. Matter of fact, if you've got your spouse, I'm going to throw it out there right now. If your spouse jumps on with you, it's the same price as you doing it. I want to help the family. I want to help the household. You want your kids involved? Put your kids on every now and again. Let them hear something that's going to kick them to the next level. All right. Other than that, you guys have a great day. Talk to you soon. I want you to be great. All right. Enjoy your evening, guys. Bye.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right. Got you.
Good night. Thanks.